So this is, I guess, this is the SweDen perspective.
Glorious SweDen perspective.
Thank you. The grand Duchy of Sweden's perspective of SweDen. So you played as North Sweden.
Yes. Oh yeah. I I think it was a good decision because this is like the most normal looking part of the map.
Yes. If you don't pay attention to what's going on beyond just this top left corner, you could be fooled into thinking that this wasn't the monstrosity that it actually was.
I mean, the Tunis part, it's a bit curious.
It is curious, isn't it?
All right, so welcome to SweDen. This is 7 Days of Chaos, hosted by Thivs and I think Blizz, and then GM'd by a whole bunch of people. But Airis took over for like a huge majority of stuff.
Yeah, Airis really carried the game, so big thank you to Airis for making.
I think if that didn't happen, yeah, it'd be over.
Yeah, SweDen would not have survived.
Went on.
So we really owe it all to Airis. And also I think Ronnec was the one who designed the map.
Oh yeah.
So it was 147 players, but I suspect most of the audience will probably know because they played in the game. What was your impression upon... Actually, tell me a bit about your diplomacy background as the player.
So, diplomacy background, I saw the videos with Veilfisk, and then I saw the commentary from Diplostrats talking about, how did these players that aren't used to playing the game, how did they play the game? And it's like, he takes the AI route to try and win, and it's funny. And I was like, I'd like to, try playing a game. And then I see a post where it's like, hey, come join 147 people. And I was like, okay. So this is my first game of diplomacy. It was interesting. Oh, what's your experience with diplomacy?
Well, I came in with a little bit more experience than you, although I don't think any amount of experience could prepare anyone for this game. But I had played diplomacy for a few years, in person and online, before I joined SweDen. I don't remember how I got into it. I think a friend recommended it to me. I pride myself on being pre-Veilfisk.
Yeah, there's like a dividing line. There's after Veilfisk and pre-Veilfisk.
That's how we do the years in the diplomacy, the SweDen calendar.
Oh yeah, 1900 winter, pre-Veilfisk.
Yeah. And it counts backwards. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But so I had never played a Chaos game before. So I was new to Chaos, and like everyone else in this game, this was the biggest game I had ever played, because at the time it was played, it was the largest, or the most player count, and probably the most tile count game of diplomacy that had been played ever. And it started on a build phase. Unfortunately, I didn't have the clean map, so you can already see what everyone has built. Do you want to give your rationale for why you built a fleet as North Sweden?
So, I know we talked about it. I don't know exactly. It's been 5 months since we've played this game, and like this phase was 5 months ago, and
that's worth pointing out. It's
almost exactly time. 5 months ago. And so I built a fleet because I'm surrounded by ocean tiles. However, we also told North Norway and Tunis, I think, to build fleets, but I don't know if actually we did. I think everyone just was like, yeah, we're here, we're going to build fleets. Kind of like in England.
You're totally right. Like, I do remember we exchanged one or two words about it, but it was kind of a forced decision for us. You can see Tunis did build a fleet. This was consistently annoying, I will admit, throughout the game. To scroll.
Just seeing what was like down there.
Yeah.
But up there at the same time?
Yes. I don't think... Oh, yeah, that's worth pointing out. For anyone who somehow stumbles across this who hasn't played the game, these tiles do wrap around the torus board. So you move from Corner Ocean to either Ocean of the Moons, Harper Ocean, or Tierman, etc.
Yeah, Corner Ocean is an interesting tile.
It definitely is. I don't
Touches
think...
a whole lot. We didn't actually use it a whole lot in the game, to be honest.
We
It was more
didn't,
just
no.
holding.
There was a lot of holding. But yes, we both build fleets, and I don't think I have any regrets about building a fleet.
So honestly, thinking about it back now that I've got more experience, if North Norway or Tunis had built the fleet, I think Spring '01, I would have talked to the other fleet person, but hey, let's blow up this guy's army so that
Oh,
they
if they'd
can't do
build an
anything.
army? Yeah, definitely.
If
I
they had built
totally
one,
agree.
that would have like made my alliance that much easier. And
Hmm.
well, let's talk about the alliance. First thing we
Yeah.
did, we talked to each other. Um, we were talking back and forth, and I was like, "Hey, first bit of my name, SWE.
Hmm.
First three letters of your name, DEN. SweDen.
Hmm.
Perfect." That's like how it all began.
It is. You came to me, and you were online before me, and being online at the start of these Chaos games is very important.
It is
Um,
so important. Now that I've seen like how it goes, it's so important.
I unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, live in Australia, and so this game started probably in the middle of the night for me, and so I came online later. But luckily, you were there to offer me an alliance, which I think I accepted without question once you proposed
Yeah,
such a good
so
name.
so unluckily, Tunis right away was inducted
Mm,
into fire because they saw that they were an Italian center. And
yes.
that is an issue because we started as a two-man gang, is what I called it. And I was like, I was like, hey, Norway, you can join as a probationary member. You can't actually be a full member yet, which is a bit bold, to say. But North Norway wasn't really talkative early in the
No,
game, so I didn't feel too bad. But
I think
then I was like,
you're.
hey, Norway, let's go kill Tunis because they're in a different alliance. But then I learned that Tunis is in fire. So you see this this monstrosity. That is an entire alliance minus Messenia, I think Tuscany or
Yes.
Florence.
Florence as well, yes.
Yeah.
But apart from those two, you're right. The entire Italy wheel plus Forest Threnus and Venus and Wonus were one alliance.
So imagine trying to go up against that as two powers. Yeah.
It wasn't going to happen really.
However, the proximity of Tunis to us was an advantage. We basically held him at gunpoint and said, Spring '01, hey, join our faction or we're going to kill you and your allies can't help you, even if they're not going to stab each other.
I'm not sure if we put it quite that bluntly, but that was the
Yeah, there's
implication,
an
definitely.
undertone, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, just look at it. North Norway is probational member, and I think this was maybe your greatest innovation for our alliance. This idea of a probational member.
Fell off towards the end, but
It
at the
did
start, I
when,
think it was a
yeah,
good idea.
it was massive because these it set the precedent that to join the alliance, which became a desirable thing, which we'll see. You had to essentially be a vassal for a short time before you were inducted as a full member.
Hmm. You have to give something to us, and then we can trust you, and then you can join, and then we'll support you.
Yes, and the support. Well, it usually followed, but the twists and turns of history make these things difficult to follow through on sometimes.
Oh yeah. So that's about it for winter. You want to go to spring moves?
It's probably notable that all of North Germany here, except for East Berlin, built fleets, and this was a
Hmm.
bit concerning, as well as these North Austrian powers. Yeah, let's talk about the alliances once we've seen the spring moves. Yeah, because that'll probably give us some context. And here we are, the first year of the game. You did a lot of the negotiations for what was going to
So
happen this
yeah,
phase.
I definitely saw North Sea as a huge issue because they were definitely so. It's an alliance called Jupiter, and they had one very active member. I think it was West Keel, who eventually subbed out. They were
Hmm.
super active. I think the most active, even before Varna was really the most active. And they had a mental breakdown like Spring '01, and unfortunately had to sub out. And then Aetherland's NMRs, they sub out. And then no more subs for until some other stuff happens. But they've got 3 fleets on the North Sea. That's pretty much all they can do, at least for Belgium itself. So they're like, hey, let's force North Sea and then get something going.
Right, and you can see that the British alliance here, which did not include Ireland, was just these 3 powers.
Which is funny.
It is quite funny, and we'll see what happens with that. But they could not prevent this without our support. So you went to the Brits, did you? Or did they come to you?
Yes. I asked, it was Edinburgh and London, and Liverpool was also included in this, but they're like, hey, we see that these guys are going to be doing this. And I was like, all right, let's send North Norway, our probationary member, and this will prove his allegiance.
Another important thing to look at in the moves this phase is, unfortunately, over the map border, but it's these bounces that I think you also arranged in Ionian and Norwegian Sea. And the alliances at play here are Fire, as you mentioned, this massive alliance here, which is getting ready to kill the 2 members, the 2 states that aren't part of it. But you organize a bounce.
Is what they're called.
The firefighters, that's right.
They called for our help, and I was like, mate, we've got to do bounces. And I was also listening to the 81 player game and learning from that, because I also had to read the rule book because I didn't know how to play the game.
Of course.
And so I was hearing never hold. Holding is not what you want to be doing. You want to be moving pretty much all the time.
True.
And then I was like, we kind of have to bounce here. So I kind of went off script there, whereas if we don't bounce, I kind of reasoned that if they decide to do something else other than bounce, then we get in. So that was kind of where I was like, all right, let's try and bounce everywhere and then see if we can get in anywhere.
That's very good reasoning. I think these were very good moves because essentially we have less fleets than the people around us, so just keeping the oceans empty is like a win. And this is North Austria here, which contains the powers in this Austria, and I think this was also arranged with them to bounce an Ionian.
I don't think East Baltic. I know Ionian Sea was arranged, but I think Craiova just went into East Baltic, which made Jupiter not very happy because all their fleets are, East Kiel, Denmark. We agreed on that bounce as well. East Kiel didn't go into Denmark for some reason. I told him to, because I also was like, it's a trust thing where it's if Denmark decides to support North Sea, you're going to stop them. Basically, trying to build trust between Jupiter and our alliance, and then the British alliance as well.
East Kiel was, I think, not super invested in the game.
I know East Berlin was, because I talked to them a lot, and they were very active.
At least in the first phase, the first season. I believe Craiova insinuated to me that they would come to East Baltic, but I don't think it was a discussion. I think it was a, I'm going to
do this. Yeah.
I think, and you're going to like it, right? So they end up in East Baltic, which is threatening to us, but we have better comms with Craiova than Jupiter does. So we think that
I think you talked to Craiova mostly, because I don't remember talking to them much at all.
Yeah, I think we handled press pretty well. I don't remember talking much to East Berlin, for instance, but you say you had a lot of interactions with them. We divided labor pretty well in the early part of the alliance.
It does help that we're almost exactly the opposite sides of the world. So when you're on, you're doing stuff, and then when I'm on, I'm doing stuff, and we don't really overlap, but we kind of, we've got an understanding.
Yeah, we had the same general idea of what we were planning.
2-man gang with 4 members. It was it's getting crowded in this 2-man gang.
It really was. And that became a trend for better or worse, as we'll see. Is there anything else notable to us here?
I don't think so, because it's so chaos games. I've learned it's very important to get a dot first turn. So I didn't know that at this time, but I was we need to be moving. We need to be getting in position to try and take a dot. And I was kind of disappointed that we're not in position. And then you start looking at the map and you're all right, we're going to need to kill something.
Yes, someone has to die. Ideally, it's not going to be Tunis
one of us. Norway. Yeah, which is their probationary members.
And they have this turn essentially done what we asked of them.
And they could just work and kill me.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly. Oh, and of course, this is public press. So
Oh yeah,
theoretically, if they are paying attention, I think Tunis was paying a lot of attention at this point.
yeah. North Norway is he like put in orders. I think we had issues sometimes where he wouldn't like react because we had a system where you would just react to see that you've shown and like done the order that you said you did.
Mm.
So that was an issue where like it made some like indecision. But other than that, he was good at, like putting in his orders.
He was very reliable. I don't think he ever NMR'd, and he also quite usefully never had any opinions.
Yeah, he was just like a fleet for us to use.
Truly. Should we go to the fall then?
I think so.
Yeah, things I think really get interesting for SweDen in the fall. I'll superimpose the map, sorry, the flag that we invented at some point.
Start waving it around.
So here we are, 01 fall. There's a lot happening here. What do you want to start with?
So one thing that's like very obvious is the invalid order from Belgium.
This is a classic.
That was it was beautiful, and no one thought it was intentional at first. They're like, "Oh, Belgium supported himself into North Sea,"
Yes.
and everyone's like, "Oh my God, what happened?"
It's illegal. It's a nonsensical move.
However, it allows Edinburgh to actually get into the North Sea, which is a very valuable tile for the future. And it
Yes.
also, if he can spin it the right way, which he did, because he's like, obviously, I'm not going to support myself in. He's like, I did that on purpose. Can you guys let me into Sweden, like as a probationary member? And we're like, hell yeah, we need that kind of wit with us.
Yeah, and at this point, we're looking at our position. You can see that I've gotten my fleet into East Kiel here. Where do we go next, right? And having Belgium on side allows us to threaten Holland with
Oh yeah,
2 strength.
Immediately.
Simultaneously, yeah, immediately. So it's it's pretty enticing. Craiova has also gotten into East Berlin. So this turn, I think, is really the beginning of and also the end for Jupiter, right? They've lost 2
Yes.
members. Another has defected. Has West Kiel subbed out by this point?
Yes, Westkiel has subbed out. New Aetherlands is
Right.
in. Weight is getting
Yes.
discouraged by their name because they get like they look for weight being said and it's everywhere. Just feel like, wait, I thought you went into this place.
The Discord search feature lets you find conversations about you quite easily, unless your name is an English word.
So, do you want to talk about the moves up in East Kiel, East Berlin? So, like,
Yes.
one thing that I was trying to do is signal to you that all these centers were going to be open. And I was like hoping that you wouldn't say anything. And because I was a new player, I was like, I feel like I wasn't super subtle about it, but I don't know. How do you feel that, like, what did you see?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was taking what you were saying pretty much at face value. I did backread this briefly before we started the commentary, and you were, I think, originally proposing that you support me to East Baltic. Is that right?
Maybe. It's been 5 months, but I know that in the end, this is what happened.
It was something like that
Yeah.
that was like quite obviously not the best move.
hmm
And then I start like saying, well, hang on, we shouldn't do that. And I imagine at this point you're going, well, yeah, like, but you don't need to say that out loud. But eventually, I think about 3 minutes from the deadline, we have a conversation where I outright say that I'm moving to East Kiel, and East Kiel is not online. And so he doesn't see this.
Yes,
And we've arranged with him to go to East Baltic.
because he feels threatened.
Yes, by Craiova. So we've agreed to support him in to kick Craiova out. But on the down low, I've made it clear to Craiova that they should, make a go at East Berlin as well. And this works out
Beautifully.
just perfectly
Yeah.
for us, really. This was a massive confidence boost, I think, for me, at least.
Definitely for North Norway and Tunis, because like when you see your alliance doing good, you're like, okay, we're actually like able to do something. Whereas Jupiter, when they see this, they're like, oh my God, we just lost like half the north.
Right, they haven't made any progress on this front
Mm-hmm.
against the Rift, and this is the Rift Alliance, which is also just lost a center, which will be relevant. And they've lost Tani. I'm not sure if Tani was ever a member of the Jupiter Alliance. I can't remember.
Yeah, me neither. It was very like we were so focused on getting our first dot.
So this was a big day for SweDen. I remember lots of celebratory emojis and flags in the chat. And this also, I think, cements our relationship with Britain.
Yes.
You must have worked in Magic, because I noticed there isn't a bounce in Norwegian unless it's down here.
So I told them Tunis needs to do something else. I think Fire doesn't like Austria, like North Austria, super like great, and they're dealing with the firefighters. So I was like, hey, let's just double bounce an Ionian, and whoever doesn't do the double bounce gets in, and then they've got an advantage. So like incentivizing people to work together without what's it called? Without having to like threaten people.
No, it's brilliant. Because just as we're cementing our relationship with Britain, we're doing the same here with Fire.
I think we were too friendly with everybody. Like that became an issue later on where like we're friends with everybody. We also drew soft hearts.
We did, definitely. Fire has eliminated the two members here, Florence and Messner, that weren't members of Fire,
Mm-hmm.
and so they've consolidated.
Messenia still lives here, however, I think.
No, because
Cobalt gets
Palermo
in.
comes from Cobalt. Yeah, I think that was their idea. They try, and I respect this a lot. They try a what do you call it? What is the name of it? Hostile support. They attempt a hostile support.
Mm-hmm.
I'll cut that in the edit. And and Cobalt, and if Cobalt hadn't moved to Messina, this would have saved their home center, but it doesn't work out. I think that's pretty much it for the moves this phase on our front. A complete SweDen victory here.
Oh yeah. North Austria is doing pretty good because of that one stab with Leoben, but they also don't want to be allied with the stabber. So they kind of like try and distance themselves, I think. And also want to take his dots.
I'm not sure if it's this phase or the next phase, but they do disintegrate diplomatically.
Mm-hmm.
I put a lot of effort into negative press against Leoben.
I saw that. The bird.
It was, the bird. So this is one of those times where emotions have a role in diplomacy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't start so much this phase, but a couple of phases later. I, for whatever reason, find Leoben's press style very grating. Nothing against the person playing, but I find the way that they conduct press, at least in Chaos, at least in this game, intolerable. Like their lies are so blatant to me that it's like insulting that it works.
Oh yeah.
Because so I think I go a little harder than I should have, really.
I feel like that's an issue with public press, is it can be easy to become heated. Like, we're very rational people, and we're like, hey, it's not good to become super emotional. It's useful to use emotion sometimes, but usually you want to be very like calculating. But it's pretty easy to get like heated.
Definitely. Or to grow a soft heart.
Oh yeah. And one player that like talks a lot, so Aetherlands takes over leadership of Jupiter as a sub, because pretty much everyone around him is subbing out right after they see like East Kiel and East Berlin go, because East Berlin was a big talker, Belgium was a relatively decent talker, and they see two of their members die right away, and they just kind of start subbing out. South Jupiter is going, because I know South Sweden and South Norway weren't even in the alliance, and so they're just in shambles, and it's ripe for us to get in.
It's reduced to its least talkative members. Holland has not sent much press, nor has West Berlin or the new West Kiel. Waite is, as you said, demoralized thoroughly. East Munich, they were talking a lot, but they had no aspirations of winning the game. And so we weren't too worried about them. And West Munich, this Belgium's like essentially stab demoralizes them. And so, as you said, this was like we have all the initiative in this relationship.
Yes. And especially since they try and go and talk to the British and say, hey, can you work with us and fight SweDen?
Yes.
And England's like, okay, we've seen how you guys operate, and we're going to side with SweDen. And that just was the nail in the coffin. And then Aetherlands comes in. Aetherlands is an interesting character because of their press style. This is their first diplomacy game, the same as me, but they try and do like a lot of comedy, you know, and a lot of it doesn't work. It pisses a lot of people off, to be honest. And I even got pretty angry, and I was like, Aetherlands, like, this is so illogical. What are you doing? You're hurting your. So I was like, eventually we can kind of work with these guys. But the way that Aetherlands was like running Jupiter, it just irked me, and I was like, I don't think I can work with this guy because it's so illogical. A lot of the stuff he does and says that I'm like, we have to kill this guy, but we can't kill him because he's so far away. So the same reason why North Jupiter is so vulnerable to us is what protects South Jupiter from us.
Yes, indeed. We have a lot of fleets, and so we can't really get across there. I found Aetherland's frustrating at points, but incredibly fun to play with. But he had a very unique press style, as you say. He would just say things. For instance, later in the game, he proposes vassalizing me. And at this point, I have... you know what? No, we'll leave that for when it happens. It'll be better when it happens, when you can see it on the map. But he's a character, and he will recur as a character.
Oh, yeah.
While we're talking about characters, we should probably mention Liverpool.
Yes.
Liverpool was a big talker. It's been mentioned in the Diplostrat's commentary that Liverpool was a part of L'Empire, which we're not going to touch on much, I don't think, because frankly, I don't know what happened.
The only thing I know is that the alliance map went all crazy, and like Partridge and Brasov, who are the mappers in this game, they kind of are like, all right, screw France, we're just going to wait until it all settles, and then we'll map them. So I was like, okay, it's just chaos down there, but they're pretty far away. Like, even though they're not that far away.
Let me bring up, actually, now that you mention it, an alliance map.
Oh yeah,
so that we can have a look at the game at the end of. Oh god, this is the end of 1901. I just need to remember where I put it. It's in the other account. It's in the
SweDen. In the 7-doc one.
Fall 1901 Brasov. That'll do.
He had beautiful maps.
He really
Congrats
did.
to Brasov.
Fantastic maps.
And they're all labeled, and they're just so beautiful.
These are divine. They're just wonderful to look at. Let me... I don't want to add a comment. I want to download it. There we go.
Editor, cut that.
Editor, cut that.
Oh, we haven't even talked about Belgrade.
Oh, we do need to...
I've got thoughts about Belgrade, but we'll save them. Looks like North Norway or South Norway is in Jupiter's moon, so they were kind of trying to do what we were doing with like probationary members.
Yeah, so I think it was an Aetherland scheme.
Known Aetherland schemer.
It looks like we don't have a
winter. I don't think there is a winter one.
I don't think there is one.
We superimpose a map at some point.
Yes. Editor, put a map in.
I added the initial map where it's like it's showing the Grand Duchy of SweDen before we just switched to SweDen, because there's no way that people are going to say Grand Duchy. Tunis is in fire.
Oh yeah, this is the very early game.
Yes, so nostalgic.
The only map to show the firefighters
before they got
or one of the only ones. So this is the winter, which shows us the builds. Yeah, so I think the fleet probably didn't need much discussion here, did it?
No, it did not.
Not a super interesting builds phase for us, but it's lovely that these units around us that were from East Kiel, East Berlin,
so
are coming
many
off the board, as well as this Linz unit.
Yeah.
And they're all right nearby. You love to see it.
That is one issue. We had a bottleneck there for armies, because if you build an army, you got to get out of East Kiel and somehow get the army in without getting bounced out.
This was a big strategic problem, which unfortunately we faced twice. If you remember,
that was rough.
That was, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Pontoon bridge it was. But this phase, an army in Denmark is probably even worse on this map than on the standard map. Mm-hmm. It's just a no-go, so we go with the fleet here. Because we have a plan. Do you want to walk us through the plan for this season, or do you want to see the moves?
I think we see the moves, because I can't remember the plan. I know the plan involves Holland, and because we've allied with Britain and stuff like that. Oh, yeah, we're going to... Yeah, I know the plan. So...
Yeah, okay, we'll see the moves.
Yeah, we'll see the moves. So, as a new player, I kind of I do the same thing every time, because I'm still learning the game. And right away, I see the opportunity to blow up a fleet, and I'm like, that's the best thing in the game, is to remove like an army or a fleet and be able to like move even freer. Because this map is so SC heavy that like just removing an army or a fleet whenever you have the opportunity, try and do it. And I was like, Holland, we just try to blow it up.
This was a lovely plan, and this influenced our decision to put a fleet in Denmark. Mm-hmm. I say our decision, and I think at this point we really were working as a unit.
Yes. I don't think I thought there was any chance of a stab for like a while.
Yes. It also helped that the victory condition was 15 centers, which was a long way away, and we both had a path for growth that involved sticking with each other. Mm-hmm. Frankly, also, I think I needed your help, both diplomatically and strategically.
Yeah, when one person says something, it's kind of hard for them to be taken as seriously if there's not another person saying the exact same thing. Like, having that one additional person that's on your side the whole time. So even, like, I was thinking, I need to get Denmark to 3 SCs. Like, I'll stay on 1 SC, get Denmark to 3, because if I do that, like, being a new player, I was like, not growing myself first, because I can trust myself 100%. I can't trust anyone else. If I get Denmark to 3 SCs, I can pretty much trust Denmark 100%, because it's so much short-term growth. Like, I felt that you'd be smart enough not to take the short-term growth and kill me for 1 SC, when as a 1 SC power, I'm basically acting as a 4th SC and another voice in, like, the diplomatic like scene.
And I think you had the right read on me. As we'll see, I am not too keen to take an early lead. I think like if there was an open SC that would have got me to 4 that wasn't in my alliance, I would have taken it. But I probably would have been inclined to donate an SC. Well, we'll see what happens in any case. But yeah, I think you had the right read on me. I was very invested in our partnership, and indeed in the SweDen alliance. I have some more notes here. Oh yes, so your plan works perfectly. The Holland unit is popped off the board, so the Dutch are not long for this world.
West Munich also NMR, so they don't even walk into Belgium like they were supposed to.
Oh yeah.
So that was nice. That's why we had 3 supporting powers onto Holland, so that they couldn't just like, is it 2 power when it goes Belgium into Holland, but West Munich supports Holland into Belgium?
And there was some small question of whether East Munich would Thivs Kiel, and that
was an issue.
Prevent this, but in the end, that doesn't happen. I don't know if it's this phase. Oh yeah, no, that wasn't going to be an issue because it was this phase that I became engaged to East Munich. So
yeah, I didn't really talk to her a whole lot, but it was definitely useful for you to get engaged. Like, she didn't even get invited to the alliance, but they basically worked for you for free, basically.
Yeah, East Munich didn't have aspirations of winning. I don't think they were really in the game for the fun of it and the social
RP
side of it. I saw their message saying, "Who will marry me?" after someone got married, and I'm the romantic type, so it ended up being, I think, quite useful to have this lone army after East Berlin was gone in the region, well, save for Belgrade, in the region being friendly to us, because otherwise it could be quite a threat moving into East Ruhr, for instance.
One thing I didn't like about Belgrade is the mappers would put them in SweDen because they just automatically put them into every alliance. And we were like so selective at the time. It was like I had to like go and talk to Brasov, and I was like, hey, you gotta take Belgrade off SweDen.
I think there was very good diplomatic rationale for that, because our selectivity promoted a mystique about the effectiveness of our alliance.
And we showed effectiveness as well for such a small alliance.
I remember boasting in the first year that we'd grown by 25%, which is a little bit manipulative given we only have 4 members and is not exactly comparable to Fire down here, who grew by double, or perhaps it was triple. I think only double our center count. No, it was triple because Coimbra was still part of the alliance at that point.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Indeed. I can't remember it in full.
I think I can kind of like very quickly summarize that. So there was a world alliance called the UN, and there was one member from each alliance who became a representative, and they would vote on stuff. And I was kind of against it. I was like, I see this as an issue because if they have any power whatsoever, it's gonna like ruin certain players, and it's gonna push other players so much further ahead. And this is one of the reasons I didn't like Aetherlands a whole lot. It's just immediately as we started going for Holland, they were talking to the UN and be like, "You guys gotta stop this! You stop this!" And it's like Aetherlands, they can't do anything. I think I said it at one point. I was like, Aetherlands, they can't do anything. Because Holland,
what is the UN going to do?
Holland was the UN representative of Jupiter. And so Denmark is the UN representative of SweDen. So it's a UN representative murdering another UN representative. Liverpool is a UN rep. Coimbra is the Speaker of the House for the UN, which is why they're important.
Oh, wow.
And they get killed, frame 1, dead. Or maybe it's not Coimbra. Who is Cordoba? Yeah.
Oh, Cordoba. Yes. You can see on this map they're already dead.
So whoever was the UN House Speaker, I can't remember. It was either Coimbra or Cordoba. They get turn 1 killed immediately, and that even sealed the deal for the UN. And I was like, thank God the UN is not useful, because even as a new player, I was like, this is going to be an issue. And I saw that with Burgess, because Burgess started the Peacekeeper Corps, and I was like, really? We're playing peace between alliances is already an issue in this game because there's so many people just holding, and then they're trying to make more people hold, and it's just going to create so many stalemates everywhere. Luckily, that doesn't work either.
Saar was also significantly involved in the Peacekeeper Corps.
Ireland. So interesting, Ireland is making moves as a free agent. Basically, they're working with the Warsaw Pact. And that's a potential way for England to grow, but they're working with us to deal with North Jupiter because there's still some dots, ready to be eaten there.
It's worth noting that Ireland was working as a free agent mostly because they'd alienated everybody. Mm-hmm. In the very first season, they were talking about allying with Britain. It's the classic, it's the British Isles, and then Liverpool, or perhaps it was London, spots them almost immediately talking to the Russians, saying, yes, I will help you invade the British Isles. And that kind of seals their fate to be at permanent war with
England, yeah. And it's crazy how, just so few words can immediately ruin your game. And, Ireland's game doesn't get ruined, but it gets ruined for some people. Some people just immediately die. So those firefighters, they were just on late. Kind of like how you were saying, you were on late.
Yeah.
So I showed up, and Tunis was already in fire, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is an issue."
Oh God.
Luckily, we solved it, but that's just Sweden's on top.
Oh, indeed, always. But yes, Messina and Florence, they log on maybe 24 hours after most people have been on, and there was nothing they could do. It was Jova from the beginning. It was the same for Van. I think this was mentioned.
I think. Actually, it was saying that Van, it's not that he was in too late, it's that he was super against the huge alliance forming. So he didn't want to be part of a huge alliance.
Right.
Because he saw the issues that huge alliances have. However, being very vocal against a huge alliance is not a good thing to be.
But that's why I was so fond of our
small alliance.
Your proposition of a small alliance, and I think our geography was very helpful for that.
If we didn't have the right geography, it wouldn't have worked.
I forgot to mention that. Was there any rationale, like gameplay rationale, that went into your preference, or was North Sweden your first preference?
It was my first preference. I have like Swedish nationality, so I was like, all right, I'll do some Swedish nationality. Just go there. Why'd you choose Denmark?
I had this romantic idea of conquering the Baltic region with a whole bunch of fleets. that was pretty much my entire rationale. I'm sure my second preference was Tani, so I really just wanted this dot. I was also fond of it being a relatively unique dot.
Yes.
Because, for instance, Traun is copied
everywhere. Yeah.
There's a couple of other things that are relevant, the moves in this phase. You continue to organize these bounces, I believe.
Yep. Basically, I use the same rationale every time. It's like, hey, if no one does, someone doesn't do what they say, their alliance suffers, and the alliance who is doing what they're saying, they profit. So it gets people to work together like super easily because they're like, okay, that makes sense, and we're not going to be getting anything out of it unless someone stabs. So until someone does that, there's going to be nothing moving, which allows me and you to continue doing what we want because these other players are doing nothing and we're doing something.
Hell yeah. And this is the beauty of having two of us being relatively active, both of us. Because I was able to, well, I don't think I actually negotiated a whole lot this phase, but I was able to work on the North Austrian problem with Leoben, anti-Leoben press, while you were handling a different part of it. I just wouldn't have had time to do both.
Yes.
Or the mental bandwidth. There's an interesting thing I want to note here about like the diplomatic situation making itself evident in the moves. North Austria, would you agree, was less fond of these bounces than Fire was?
I think North Austria wanted to gain dots, and then they just kind of got disheartened because I would come in and I'd say, hey, you guys need to do this, otherwise if you don't do it, they're going to get in. And they're like, we're being forced to do this.
And it's interesting then that Tunis, who's in our alliance, is helping the North Austrians here. That's like, it's almost our incentive. It's like, we're going to give you something, and you can see that on the map. I think that's really cool.
And we're like mediators, basically, because we're a very small alliance, friends with everyone. And we're doing our own thing. We can't afford to be on either side. So we're going to ensure that you guys can have an equal exchange. Because North Austria can't meet the 3 fleet power of Fire. So we're going to help you out. But also, if you guys don't do what you say, you're going to suffer from Fire. And then Fire's like, oh my god, we have to work with these Swedish people. What the hell?
I think this arrangement suits Fire in some spiritual way, though. It's very bureaucratic, and it allows them to do nothing, which is what they do all game, right?
I mean, they get a lot done for doing nothing, which is crazy.
That's fair. I shouldn't say they do nothing, but we'll see. We'll see how they go. The other thing I wanted to mention this phase, well, there's one marvelous thing is Jupiter actually makes progress somewhere, but that will be short-lived, is these units all marching... Aethelon's W, rare Aethelon's W, truly. These units are all marching in our general direction. So there's a lot of arrow here that doesn't look good, in my opinion.
It does not look good. And we have like almost no armies, so we're pretty vulnerable. Because we can't bounce them out of these nearby supply centers, or non-FCs.
It's worth noting that this East Berlin fleet is in alliance with these.
Yeah, they are not in our alliance.
We have a good relation, or at least I had a good relationship with Craiova at this point. I think that's all I want to say about this phase.
Yep, we blow up a fleet in Holland, and we're drawing by 1.
Here we are then. It works out, as you said.
Yep.
This was arranged to have Belgium retreat out of Holland.
Yes.
But if I'm able to force that. And the concept here is that Belgium is a probationary member. The dot ends up going to you. So this is what I was talking about donating.
Yes.
So I wanted to give you the dot before Belgium because I trusted you more and you'd been in the alliance longer. How did you feel about this?
I didn't feel a whole lot because honestly I was like, oh, I'm getting another dot. I was happy to let Denmark get to 3 and then we can work off that. but if I get a dot, maybe I can do something. However, the issue with there's a geography issue here and like an alliance issue. Fire is a big issue because they've got a lot of fleets, and someone has to stay up north. And I was like, okay, maybe I can just act as like a shield against fire, but that then stops me from being able to do anything. And I was like, that's fine, because then I can just like work as a coordinator, while other people would get stuff done. But now you've only got 2 fleets, no armies. I think we also did this because we wanted the next time you get a dot, you immediately build an army somewhere, but we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, looking back, it would probably have been a better decision for the alliance as a whole, assuming I didn't stab, which I don't think I would have, for me to get the 3rd dot and immediately build an army, even if it was in Denmark. But I think I was anxious about not wanting to go to 3 at this point, and
there was
anxious about
there was a net or whatever. There was something that stopped 3 SC powers from doing anything.
Yes, this was an idea from Ren's, I think. Was it Ren's? Probably. That once you got to 3, that was the great filter. But I'd also been yapping a lot about people on a lot of dots.
Don't want to be hypocritical.
And so, yeah, it wasn't going to look great if I was yapping about Leoben and Klagenfurt, which is who I was yapping about, really. And then I just go to 3 and don't donate to my alliance members. So that's really what motivated that decision.
Yeah, so I think one issue that we later found is I didn't really have any dots, and I didn't care. But because I didn't care, I wasn't motivated to kill any stabbers. So later, if North Norway stabbed, North Norway wasn't saying anything. So if they NMR'd, I was happy to give it to Tunis, but I should have been trying to get dots as much as possible, because it later hurts our alliance in the game when the 2 players who trust each other the most, because right away we have so much trust. When one of us isn't able to help the other at all, that becomes an issue, which happens later, but we can talk about that when it happens.
It's a good point, and I really enjoyed our press together. I really enjoyed playing with you. It would have been nice to be able to coordinate more. But despite being next to each other, our geography was remarkably separate.
Yes, because I was incentivized to go north, you were incentivized to go south, and it was perfect.
Yes, perfect in one way.
Well, I mean, the issue with going north for me was fires up there. So and Tunis was in fire. So if I go against Tunis, they're probably just going to rejoin fire.
This season, though, looks really good for SweDen and Britain. Edinburgh, this is still Britain at this point, but we've been working with Britain all game. Not really a crack or seam in that relationship. Britain gets into West Munich. This is a perfect outcome. Belgium has been inducted into our alliance. We take Holland. We take Norwegian Sea. North Norway finally gets out of their home dot and into North Sea. It's all going well, except this.
Yes, that's an issue. Which I've got a problem with it too, because I've been trying to keep them out of Ionian, and it's in order to grow, you can't be everywhere at once, and so somewhere had to give. And
this is what you were talking about, the side that doesn't follow through. Oh, it's not exactly
that. It was Tunis, but we wanted to get into Norwegian Sea.
Norwegian. So we kind of abandoned the North Austrians here, which becomes a theme, I think. Zrenjanin was a very active player at the beginning of the game, and I think very friendly guy.
I talked to Star Zagor and Zrenjanin a decent bit. They were friendly. Felt bad to kind of screw them over, but they're not in my alliance, so.
Importantly for them, Wolfsburg stabs here. Traun, Big Papa Stalin, was not very active this game, and frankly was just doing what Leoben told them, so I was very happy to see this. This was good news, I think, for SweDen.
Yep, and it incentivizes us to go against North Austria is also important, because now they're weaker.
Exactly. And public opinion at this point is now very anti-Leoben. So when you pointed out Leoben, Yeah, the first time they'd stabbed Linz, and Linz was in this Rift Alliance, which includes Sophia, who unfortunately has died this turn. Also includes Belgrade, Salzburg, Bucharest, and Graz. And then Leoben manages to press this is quite impressive, manages to press his way into the Rift Alliance and says, yes, I'll move to Mega Albania and then East Prussia and help you in some way. And then, lo and behold, stabs again into Belgrade. But Belgrade, notably, is still alive in the East Munich dot.
Belgrade was... I didn't really talk to them a whole lot. I just saw that they were in every alliance, and I was like, nah. One alliance, like that was a rule for Sweden, is you can only be in Sweden. If you try and join Sweden, you need to renounce your previous alliance first. So there's no like stabbing. Like I'm not stabbing Fire by having Tunis, because Tunis voluntarily left Fire to join us. It wasn't, hey, flip over to us. It said, hey, inform them that you're leaving, and then join us. Same thing with Belgium. Even though it was a stab against them, we were like, yeah, you can join us. But later on, it's like we forcing people to leave their alliance publicly and then join us. I think had better optics than it should have been, because we're basically just poaching members.
Yeah. It was another one of your great innovations, a great structural thing. If I were to play another big Chaos game, I would most definitely make that a clause in an alliance I was part of. It contributed as well to the mystique of SweDen as a very exclusive club.
Yeah, boys club, no girls all day. However, we're progressive. We're open to change. True. So eventually, we get some women.
Progressive into dots, primarily.
Oh, that one meme. I love that meme. I was very selective with the memes that I put into the Doodle slides.
Oh, let me take a look. Which one would you like me to pull up?
I think it's called Death, like C.take.death. That's, I think...
This is a good one.
It's so good. Because a lot of the memes are so specific, but this one is so like diplomacy coded that I'm like, yes, that's beautiful.
Your public image in this game mattered a lot, and we, I think, managed to cultivate generally a nicer external appearance than a lot of other people in the game.
You want to move on to the next spring?
Let's do it.
It was very simple with C.take. But we're doing it, legally.
Yeah, legally.
R.I.P. UN representatives. You were very legalese, but not. We killed you. We're sorry.
Very quickly, the winter. Again, it's wonderful to see these armies that are near us coming off the board.
So many disbands in that area. It's last season or last year, this year. It's like Christmas.
You get your build, and it's a fleet, of course, and Edinburgh also builds a fleet.
I could have built an army, but I saw how every other convoy went, and I was like, I'll just do a fleet.
Yeah, truly. There was one successful convoy to Devil Petersburg near the beginning of the game, but convoys were difficult to get off, especially at the start. And forever for Fire, at least in North Austria.
Yeah, I think builds winter 0-0 is the most important. That's like the only time you got to be like, look at all these builds. There's a nice loop there.
Yes, the GMs were very accommodating of players' desires. Who tried to go into West Berlin here? Sure.
Flame.
Why not?
Palermo.
I must admit I did not speak with Palermo much. They were one of those Fire members that was really, truly Roman through and through and did not have individuality.
Fire was a monolith.
As far as I was concerned.
Yeah, a four-faced... there was four faces to Fire, and they were just a pyramid. Like, you talk to the pyramid. So there's Naples.
And I think you're right. There really were four faces. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it was a metaphor, us Americans.
But it's a very apt metaphor, because there were about four people who were influential. The most influential to us would be Naples. Mm-hmm. He was the ambassador to our alliance from Fire.
Yep.
Probably the most crucial thing here is that we stabbed Craiova.
Yes. I mean, we weren't in an alliance at all because Trevo hadn't renounced his vows to be the emperor or
True.
like anything else. So, but we had worked with him year one, and then we were like, "Hey, just don't don't screw with us for a bit, you know. We'll maybe help you again." Which I think he wasn't super active at this point, and later I became super inactive because life just, you know, it's a 3 month game we played, and eventually life just had to take its toll. So I think me and Trevo were on opposite sides. So I was very active at the start, and then he was very active at the end.
It's a likely thing that we'll get East Villain in the fall.
Yes.
Especially with Belgrade becoming more and more inconsistent as the game went on.
Mm-hmm. Belgrade was very, very, what's it called, vocal first seasons, but now he's like kind of despondent.
Yes, actually.
In every alliance, but in none, is what one would say.
Truly. And he speaks in like clipped sentences as if he's unable to force himself.
He's like cutting out newspaper clippings to like tape them together. Are you a hostage? No, I'm just in every alliance.
But he's also in quite a powerful position here. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, East Munich, my beloved,
further away,
was no longer in East Munich, and so the security was now gone. London NMR's here. London is in Britain and working closely with us, so this is a shame.
I liked London, but they didn't really need to do anything this phase, I don't think.
That's true. I guess they were moving to Welsh to position on Ireland. I'm
yeah,
guessing,
that was an issue.
Remember.
Ireland's at like 3 right now, right?
I think that's next season. They're at 2.
Okay. It's hard to see. I had no idea what was going on in Russia. I know Tiumen was technically in our alliance at some point, but...
Yeah, later in the game, Edinburgh institutes, spoilers, Edinburgh ends up in the alliance, but Edinburgh institutes the idea of a commonwealth, which is like a probational member, but not. Like, they will never progress to a full member. They're just associated. I think that was the idea.
Kept them safe, though.
Tumen, yes.
Like, I saw them at the end, and I was like, what? I thought GTFO killed them, like, 2 years ago. But they're still alive, so good job.
I can't believe we haven't said GTFO yet.
Oh, we have not. I mean, it's covered in the video.
Yeah. This one is GTFO. This thing.
Another monolith with even more faces. 7-sided prism. How does that work?
Not for the Egyptians. So Belgium's main complaint about being in Jupiter was that they would never get into the North Sea, which was true. So we have made good on getting them out of their home center now.
North Norway, as always, he's stoic. You know, that's what wouldn't be said for it. Tunis was pretty quiet very early on. They just kind of did what they were told, which was nice.
Tunis had, when it was calculated, the most efficient press to dot ratio in the game, or the second.
That's our fault as well, later on.
Yes, as well as in a future part of the commentary. But nevertheless, yes, Tunis contributed to tactics, but not really ever to the diplomatic discussion.
Yeah.
But he provided... He gave himself the moniker, or was given the moniker, Captain of Sweden, and he provided some invaluable tactical analysis.
I think I made him Admiral of the fleet, so I was like, just give him a title.
Oh, Admiral!
And he was like, yeah, sure. I tried to give Norway a title, and he did his orders. That's all he did.
It was fascinating. I tried multiple times to get him to have some sort of moniker.
Well,
it was just not really interested.
I'm a very friendly person, so I was trying to talk to a lot of people, mostly in our area. I talked to you a lot, and that was about it. I tried to talk to Tunis. We didn't really we didn't click. We just kind of worked together.
Yep.
Co-workers. And then North Norway, I tried to talk to them a bit, and it's like, I could only really get through to Denmark, where we talked about like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. Won't get into that.
Yeah, we actually chatted.
We actually chatted, which was definitely useful.
Doing that builds the trust that we were talking about. Whether that's well founded or not, but it definitely it endeared you to me. It does have a result at the very end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
What else is going on this phase? We've really only talked about this.
I mean, that's what the people are here for. They're here for the winner's POV. You know, Oh, maybe we can probably cut
Something
that,
like that.
Unless that's the title. Get more clicks.
Oh, this is the beginning of the fire convoys into North Austria. They have many units, armies waiting on their wheel that want to go and do things.
I was waiting for fire to explode, that burst into flames, one could say. But yeah, everyone was like, fire, GTFO, when are you guys going to stab each other? GTFO is stabbing, but they're like very hard to invade. Fire was definitely easier to invade at some point, but they were so stable that like I felt I did not want to go and try and touch one of their SCs because we're a small alliance. Like we're good, we're making dots every single year, but we just can't match the SC count.
No, exactly. They just have so many fleets on the board. I think Naples was crucial in our success this game because he was I think fond of us and we were fond of him, and being our ambassador, our efforts, particularly your efforts, and also Naples' efforts, maintained good relations between us and Fire from the get-go.
Yep. I know Barry, like, we'd talked with him, and it's like, he's always like, let's stab SweDen, because they're a weak thing. And Naples is like, SweDen is our only ally who would probably actually come to our defense, like, if we get into a war. And he's like, it's useful to have SweDen on side. And it's like, okay, yeah, that benefits us too.
Yeah. I hope you keep thinking that forever.
Yeah.
I don't think it was untrue. My line was often that if we got into a war, neither side would get anywhere. Mm-hmm. That was a favorable opinion of our tactical ability, I think. But
yeah, we would have been crushed.
But you had to convince the voting public, right?
Yeah.
In Fire, and that wasn't too hard to do.
I don't know. There's so many what ifs, and it's like, what if they'd come at us? But if they came at us, maybe they would have stabbed. If we had gone at them, maybe they would have stabbed. Maybe we would have been. There's so many maybes.
There are. Look, we'll have to play another game soon.
Another 7 dot.
Well, there's another one coming, apparently.
Oh, I'm getting too busy. Yeah,
it's.
I'm glad I did this.
Yeah, too.
But
yep. No, that's kind of how I feel as well. It was a pleasure, but maybe a pleasure of the past. Aethelon stabs weight here. This is another one of the classic Aethelon's moves that you're going to see throughout this game.
Actually, this was arranged.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm glad we're having this debate live because I was unsure.
So Wait said, "Kill me, just kill me."
But then I remember in the fall, Wait was unhappy about what happened.
That is true. They went back on it and they were like, "Hey, don't actually kill me because this is spring, right?" Yeah, it is spring.
Yeah, this is spring. As Aethelons, would you walk out of Wait?
No.
No. Exactly. So we'll see whether they do or not. The other thing I want to note here is Plovdiv and Rens, who are going to become more relevant to us later. Plovdiv is part of Spiral, which is broadly the East powers here. But the most important ones to us are Klagenfurt, Innsbruck, and Plovdiv. They're aligned with Leoben at the moment, although Leoben is not long for this world. And they're also aligned with Rens. And Rens is a stab-happy and very successful tactician of a player.
Oh, yeah. They're on 3.
Damn right.
They're moving north, which is concerning. I didn't see this because I was too busy looking up north. But yeah, this is concerning.
And I was looking down south, and I did see this, and this definitely worried me. Corner Ocean is taken by the Russians. Yeah, I must admit I never paid much attention to Corner Ocean. I just left Edinburgh to deal with it.
I was like, yeah, the British will deal with it, and they no complaints for a while.
Yeah, truly. So yes, Plovdiv and Rens are moving towards us. At the same time, Klagenfurt is moving north, and Innsbruck. And these players are all aligned.
Yes.
Shall we go on, or is there anything else you wanted to say on this map?
Definitely, Leoben is the biggest threat on the board. People are always talking about Leoben, and that is an issue. Like one of the issues why you didn't want to go to 3 was the same reason why Leoben, the bird, as he is so commonly called, he is so public being on 3, even though Ronnec is on 3 as well. But this is just not a good position to be in. Even though he's on 3 centers, it's pretty bad.
Okay, fall of 03.
All right, big moves.
Here we are. Yeah, it's another good season. We take East Berlin here. You can see the trust between us is pretty much as good as it could be. We're just moving away from each other. indeed the trust in throughout the alliance, leaving Holland, for instance, exposed
Yep.
and Edinburgh exposed. This is an arranged bounce between Tunis and North Norway to prevent
Venice.
Oh, it must be to prevent the unit in Ionian.
Yep. So
Yeah.
it's Army Venice gets into Stara Zagora, and this is one thing that.
Yes, you're right.
So this is like biggest convoy has been like actually pulled off, and I am partly to blame for it. This is one bit where, thinking back on it, I don't know if I'd do this again. Like, as a new player, I was like, yeah, let's get another ally. Like, let's work with Fire, the big group. I didn't realize that big alliances, they walk over little alliances all the time. So I should have gotten something first before I let them in. Because this was a huge issue I even had with Barry. Like, we got into like a spat. This is a later future. I'm basically kind of pissed that later on they don't stick with their word. And I know like Edcio talked about this. Fire would just not do what they said because it's a democracy. They would just change what the verbiage was. So this was kind of a misplay on our part, or on my part specifically, due to just lack of knowledge. I think getting a stronghold here was Stara Zagora was not the right one.
Right. So you think we had a better line, for instance, waiting a season and then supporting you into Craiova?
Maybe. It's so hard to know like what we should have done, but I think that this was a turning point in the game, was getting Army Venice into Stara Zagora.
Yeah, importantly, it is an army, and so it can actually do something.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of things I'd say in favor of your decision. One is that, as we'll see, this, along with our press, buys a lot of favor with Fire. And even if they don't return it materially in a positive sense, they do leave us alone.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that if we had taken one of these centers, say with your fleet, it's not an army, and so it's kind of limited.
It is,
at least in the short term. One other thing to note is that Brasov is also in support of this.
Yep.
So North Austria is kind of completely collapsed here, except for 3 Center Wolfsburg, who is unaligned.
Leoben down too, which is it's rough to see.
I believe the Leoben player Bird subs out at this point,
Mm-hmm.
or in the winter. And a new lens comes in, which changes the dynamic here. I am very involved in these negotiations. This is, again, the emotions coming in. This is my partner here in Sofia, from East Munich. And from a more tactical sense, I'm convinced that Klagenfurt and his allies are the threat.
Yes.
I know they're a long way away, but Klagenfurt Heinrichs was the player who came second, or at least threatened first, in the original Chaos Imp Dip Europe game in the Vikings Alliance with Ezio. And so that reputation preceded him. And so I was doing everything I could to organize the slightly disorganized Rift Alliance against his advances.
Yeah, I can kind of see why we kind of had to. Like, I didn't actually see this threat until later, because I was so focused on doing other stuff. But yeah, Spiral is such a scary alliance. They grew so fast because we grew fast, but we're a super small alliance. They're a big alliance that's growing fast.
Right, exactly. And as Klagenfurt highlights in his retrospective of the first 3 years, he held the power in at least this arm of Spiral, because Innsbruck and Plovdiv had only fleets and really were locked into building fleets, so long as Klagenfurt was also threatening a build of an army, right?
Yeah, like if they didn't if they didn't do what he said, he would just grow even more. And they're like, all right, we'll just go do our stuff. Interestingly, that's something about these alliances, like these smaller alliances. So Klagenfurt, because he was such like a strong arm, like he didn't really have as much control as like we did over our alliance members, but just being strong makes you a better leader. Like if you're winning, you're just a better leader. It's crazy how that works. Like Fire, they have to go through so many hoops just to like do what they want to do. But me and you, we were they did it, but like it's so much more work. We basically just said, "Hey, here's the orders, do it. Otherwise, well, like we've been doing good, so do what we want you to do, and we're gonna continue doing good." And we did, kind of. We're not growing as fast.
No, but it's still growth, and well, I think it's testament to the success of our alliance play that there have been no stabs so far, and that there have been no defections or really many complaints from any of the members or from our allies in Britain.
Yep.
Yes, so as predicted, Aethelins does not move out of Wait.
Belgium was in, what's it called? He was in talks with Wait a lot, and he was very angry at Aethelins for killing Wait, because I know like Wait was like working with Belgium or trying to work with them, so that was an issue. I think this is before we switched over to new GMs. Airis did such a fantastic job. It was so easy to read.
Oh, truly, some of the best I've seen in diplomacy, and on such a gargantuan map.
Oh yeah.
Quite an effort. I know there were some other GMs for the regions behind the scenes, but from what I understand, they mostly stopped doing it. We got to see the Airis GM live, which was a beautiful
that was
thing.
Definitely a fun time. A lot of memes in the adjudication chat. Yeah, all arranged that was another good meme.
Let me pull that up, because it has to do with our friend here, Aethelins. I like your title here. There was a concept that every Austria would bounce in the Rift in the first season. That did not happen.
This was a fabricated image, but it was funny, and people just referenced arranged all the time.
And usually it was the case, but it was kind of euphemistic to say that something was arranged when perhaps it wasn't. For instance, this. Edinburgh makes progress into Corner Ocean here.
Yep.
And into the Channel.
I think we were... Yeah, I don't know what's going on over here. I wasn't involved in like British tactics until later, and even then it was mostly just for mainland Germany. Also, kind of like some fleets around there, but yeah, a lot of it was just dealing with our stuff. There's so much to do in this game that you need people that you can trust.
Yes,
elsewhere.
No, definitely.
That's where Edinburgh gets in, because they're in West Munich right now.
Yes, and they are running the British alliance really from the get-go. Liverpool is a big yapper, but not a great doer of diplomacy. Well, lots of diplomacy, not much tactics. Edinburgh handles most of that.
I liked London from like just talking to them a little bit. I barely talked to them, but I liked London.
Yeah, they were a nice player. I think they were really the North Norway of the British alliance. Is there anything else? Let me consult my notes.
Army, Venice into Stars Agora, and then we get not a disband on East Berlin like I would have liked, but we're in.
Let's look at the winter. Here we are.
More disbands.
The fleet does come off in the disband, and these two. This is the Afghanistan of
That's
the map.
So funny.
I'm sure.
Death of Empires.
These two tiles. That must be 5 or 6 units have been disbanded in these two tiles in the first 3 years.
I remember seeing the heat map, and it's huge right there.
Yes. I forget who made that. That was an excellent innovation. But we do get the army down, and this is big. Or, theoretically, this is big.
Yeah, that was big because it's not in Denmark.
It expands our reach.
Is keyword.
Yes. By this point, we have really... This is all, except Ireland, acting as one alliance, this entire North Sea region. Aethelins gets an army, and this is big in a different way.
So much harder to kill. It's so hard to kill a 2SC player. I wanted him dead when he was a 1SC player, and now he's a 2SC player. And it's like this is when I started to like him a bit more, because it was less against us, even though we were still like butting heads everywhere. But like a player going from 1SCs to 2SCs, like Wait just killed themselves, and it's like, oh my god, Aethelins is. I would rather have less kill have it.
Now, this is a time when the marriage comes in handy, because Aethelins is in an alliance with Sophia, that the remnant of the Jupiter alliance. You may have already mentioned that he renamed it Neptune at some
mentioned
point.
that. He
might have been
thought
around
that
this time.
it would be. I think it was also like kind of useful, but like just renaming an alliance can kind of change the way people think about it.
Yeah, and that was the idea. Unfortunately, Aethelins had been, I think, the face of Jupiter for so long that it was the Aethelins Alliance. And so Neptune was just an extension of the Aethelins Alliance, because he really did. He was the only one who posted its iconography, apart from West Berlin. But he was definitely the only one who ran press for the Alliance and who coordinated within the Alliance.
Yeah, Lisbon was the Empire, right?
I believe so.
You were saying something about Sophia, or not Sophia, West or East Munich.
Oh, yes. Because I am married to East Munich and they are in, thank you, an alliance with Aethelins, I think this is part of what endears Aethelins to us a bit and makes them a little bit easier to get along with and work with.
Yeah, we see in the future like some more issues with working with Aethelins that like I noticed right away. It's like it's hard to work with someone who has diplomatic incidents on the daily. It's just not a not a great like person because he talks a lot, and so when he's having all these diplomatic incidents, it makes us look bad too if we're trying to work with him.
This is something that I probably should have paid more attention to because I was never really tactically pro-Aethelins. I didn't help Aethelins in achieving his goals, but I was a vocal Aethelins supporter. I was a big pro-Aethelins voice in the SweDen community, which may have harmed my image somewhat. No, we talk a lot of smack. He was fun to play with at the be all and end all. Just a little bit unstable.
You need some people like that to make it interesting.
I agree. Do you want to do one more season?
I think we could do another season.
All right.
Because interesting things are happening now. Because Leoben goes from 3 down to 2. Ireland is up to 3 SCs. Potential growth for us. Obviously not us, but our alliance. Because now I think we're moving into merging into the North Sea Alliance. Edinburgh had a beautiful image that they created.
I'll find it and superimpose the NSA flag, which was great. Yeah, as you said, it was a wonderful image. I'm looking at my notes. We don't actually merge until the next year, but I also thought it was earlier, and it goes to show just how closely we were working.
Interestingly, it's crazy how like I didn't really talk to Edinburgh at all, but just because we did tactics together, like we just posted tactics, and I would like tell them what to do, or they tell some of our guys what to do. It just made us become one alliance, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we'd just been working so well together from the very first phase when you helped them bounce the Jupiter members out of North Sea.
Because otherwise, they would have had a much worse game if Jupiter got into North Sea. Because Belgium would never have flipped to our side.
Indeed.
If we had let them in. Because they were the one getting into North Sea at that point.
I mean, that's worth saying. You're dead right. The only reason that they wanted to flip is because we had frustrated their efforts to do anything. Okay, at the start, I want to disclaim for spring 1904 that this is not a stab into Tunis. Yeah.
It is on purpose.
I believe... Yeah, this is the year that North Norway leaves the game, is it?
They stayed in the game the whole time. They never fully left. It was only until we took their dot that they left the game, and they just consented to having their dot taken.
Yeah, right. I think that happens in the fall. Yeah, the fall of this year, and I believe this is preparation for that.
He's moving out of the way. Okay, yeah.
Yes, so that. I believe we'll see it, but Tunis can move in. So this is not euphemism. This is not arranged euphemism. This really is North Norway.
Yeah.
Told us. Yeah, you could see the receipts in the server. He's sick of it. It wasn't what he thought it was going in, and I mean, to us, this is great news. It's another dot, a bit more consolidation.
Oh. This phase. So, fire. Naples, basically. You see, it looks like I'm attacking fire. It's because I am. We're working with fire this whole time. And then I see a message where fire says to... I can't remember who exactly it was. But I saw a message 3 minutes before adjudication. Basically saying, do it. Do the plan. from Naples, and I was like, oh shit, they're doing something that I didn't want to happen. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it causes me to just like attack them. It was kind of a diplomatic incident, but they're like, oh yeah, it's our fault for not like making it clear. They were trying to create an opening at some point. Can't even really see where it is because they're doing a lot of holding action.
It's a weird one. The moves don't really tell us. Again, this was like 4 months ago. The moves don't really tell us what they were trying to do. I think it. You know what? I really don't know, because it looks like they weren't going to do anything because everything just support holds. But I do remember seeing your off-script move and going, what? And then going, oh, genius. Because I know, and I can't prove it because I don't know what they were going to do, but I know that if they had done the thing that they were going to do, your move was necessary.
Yeah.
And it was good. And I was very happy. I think I posted in my void that I was very happy with
catching that. Yeah, because I think they were working with, it might have been Wolfsburg, and they were trying to get them to do something.
Yeah, that might be right.
Which would have created an opening. Maybe popped a dot or something, and it would have made our position worse. And so I immediately changed my order, because I was, I think, walking home from work, and I was on my phone, seeing the message, and I had to think back, use my memory, because I couldn't pull up an image, and I just typed in orders and I got it right, thankfully, if there was an actual issue at some point. But it was scary. It felt well, there was a lot of emotion that I felt there, which I didn't feel in many other places. I felt I felt happiness when we were getting dots and stuff, but this one was oh my god, DEFCON 1, we got to do something about this.
Yeah, no, there were some great moments right before adjudication, but this was definitely the highlight of them. I remember you typing afterwards. Oh my god. And to remember the map after only a few years is,
it's pretty
with such names as Stara Zagora.
It's pretty easy when you're focused on such a small bit.
I suppose.
I couldn't tell
I'm moving
anywhere
to wing
else.
Here.
Yeah, wing. What do you think about this move? Because you're working with Craiova now.
I think this I could say that this is my worst move in the game, but the fall season is yet to come, so I won't. But this is not a brilliant play, to be honest. Part of it comes from just looking at the geography here. I don't want to stab you. We're not coordinating against Craiova. I forget the diplomacy behind that. So where else is it going to go? And I've been so wrapped up in coordinating these players here against Klagenfurt and Innsbruck and Leoben that I've tunnel visioned into that. And it's easy to do that when my backline is very secure. I trust Belgium at this point, for instance. And so I moved to wing. It seems like kind of the only place for my fleet to go. And this harks back to what we were talking about that second fleet build decision. It seemed forced, and it did help us get Holland, but now I'm stuck with two fleets. So I moved to wing. And, well, whatever. I'm in wing. I guess I can fiddle with Linz. Sure. It's not brilliant. It's, I should have made I don't know what exactly I should have done differently, but this is not a great move. Maybe ideally you destroy one of my fleets here and I rebuild it as an army.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so difficult in these games because right away having one fleet where that's all you have to deal with is so easy. So it was very nice for learning the game. Was only having to deal with one fleet, and then learning through talking to other players and being like, hey, let's work together to do this. I think that really helped me early on, is only having one thing to do and then extrapolating that out to everyone else. And then at this point, I think I was starting to struggle with the tactics because I was pushing a lot of the tactics that we were doing, and you would look over them and make sure that they were all right, and we'd have to do some changes. But a lot of it was I was just struggling to, kind of like a computer, trying to brute force it. It doesn't work. And this is where my lack of knowledge in the game kind of was happening, is I I don't know how at that point to gain dots was an issue. So it kind of hampers you as well by me not being like as good at the game at this point. I'm better because I've played one more game of diplomacy, but I'm hoping to do some more soon.
Lovely. Well, I hope you get the chance. I should say to the folks listening, North Sweden is being far too modest. Any unbiased, unknowledgeable observer looking at the orders that North Sweden was putting out would by no means have said this is North Sweden's fourth year of diplomacy, like fourth game year. I looked over these orders, and obviously, I mean, I'm not a perfect player.
Nobody's perfect
in these games,
especially with alliance play.
But they were good moves, and you were coordinating not just our moves. Like we talk a lot about ourselves because we're here in the commentary booth on other sides of the world, but nevertheless, and you were also coordinating Tunis and North Norway, and at times the Brits moves as well.
I remember telling Liverpool and London to do a lot, and I just let Edinburgh check over that, made sure it's right. Because I didn't tell Edinburgh what to do like at all, but I told London and Liverpool what to do.
Yes, that's an interesting distinction, isn't it? Edinburgh was always a little more took a little more initiative. My cursor is strayed down here.
This is
so if we finish
Aethelon's moment number 18.
Oh, he was such a fun player to have in the game. As much as we really should have wanted him gone. This is
beautiful.
This is brilliant. It explains itself, doesn't it? What could be better than this? This is diplomacy.
Oh, yeah.
This is chaos, right? So they have both tried to support each other to Southsea, to be clear. Westkill was not particularly communicative. And Aethelon's was sometimes impossible to communicate with.
They said the same thing, and then they'd say the complete opposite of it at the same time. And it's like, okay, I understand what you mean. It's like when the teacher calls on you or like says something, you're like, yeah, I understand. And then you get it wrong on the test.
Oh, truly. Exactly that feeling. Just as much dismay when you realize, okay. This tap here on East Munich is just in the hope that Belgrade will do something really silly, like walk to East Silesia. I don't think there was really any coordination here.
Eventually, we tell Belgrade what to do, and this was also kind of just like hoping that, like, we just get in somewhere, just kind of hoping.
You'll notice, pardon me. You'll notice that. Jeez, hang on, I need to drink. It's a lot of yapping.
We've been at this for nearly 2 hours.
Cut that.
Cut that.
You'll notice that Rennes is now in Mid-Atlantic Ocean, and Plovdiv has made it into North African Ocean. So they called this their fishing trip, and that was a great euphemism for it. They're continuing to plow.
Everyone was referencing the fishing trip, which it's a very, very great label, and it made it seem less concerning. Because this is when I took notice of what was going on, and I was like, oh, shoot. Spiral and this French player are like actually an issue.
At this point, I am giving these players moves because Aethelon's, although the ostensible leader of these powers here, kind of isn't doing that. So I am providing the moves for, I believe it's the South Norway player, who's very good to talk to, and the West Berlin player, who I don't think I really could talk to because they didn't press. And the West, well, I wasn't giving orders to Westkill, but I was organizing this defense.
It was more like suggestion, like, hey, I don't know if you guys are working together or like what's going on, but do these orders and it'll defend you. And they didn't do enough of the orders. Like, there was an issue there. I think that's kind of indicative of Jupiter, is even with us telling them what to do, non-biased, obviously, because we can't get any dots out of this. Because we're telling them to do it so we can get their dots later, so we don't have to take it off of like Ronnec, because Ronnec is going at 3 or 4 SCs at this point, and it's like, if we want to take it off them, it's easier to take it off a 1 SC power or 2 SC power than it is a 4 SC power.
Yes, exactly.
How selfish of us. Also, how we're murderers. We have killed so many players at this point.
When does the rhetoric like that start? I think we do a pretty good job of keeping it
Yeah, I don't
down.
think anyone really notices that we're murderers besides Aetherlands, and no one listens to Aetherlands. Oh, that's a nut job.
Oh yes, they even copied that wonderful meme. I believe you included the
Oh
van
yeah,
meme.
nobody listened to Van. I should have found the Aetherlands one, but that was funny.
I couldn't find it. I went looking for it a while ago. But yes, this was a wonderful addition. I think that's pretty much it. I'm also helping coordinate the defense here in the Rift.
Yep.
And this turn, I'm quite pleased with
They
the
were
results.
way easier to tell them what to do.
Yes. Bucharest, who is actually here in Belgrade,
Mm-hmm.
Salzburg, who is, yes, in Salzburg, and Graz in Bucharest, and East Munich and Sofia were all very, very fun to talk to, and they actually wanted to survive. They were invested in the game.
That's a very big distinction from the Jupiter players.
To be clear, South Norway was playing to win,
Mm-hmm.
but they were in a really rough position. Like, even best tactics here is eventually going to lose.
Yeah. Geography and spawning next to players that don't do the right thing is can screw you over. We got super lucky spawning up in the up in the north.
Yes, and next to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and next to North Norway particularly, I think.
Yeah, I think it would have been so much harder if we were slowed down even by one turn. I think also one thing we should talk about was me and North Norway were going to kill Tunis turn one if they didn't join. But I reasoned that
Mm.
it's more effective to bring someone into your alliance if you can trust them at some point. Because I was like, you're a probationary member until you do something good. It is more useful to not have to go in spring or go in at fall and then capture and then build. It's more useful to just have them enter your alliance as basically you've gained another dot. And I didn't like changing dots. I tried to avoid doing that as much as possible. Obviously, it didn't work towards the end of the game because I got less active. But I saw that a lot of other alliances were exchanging dots, being inefficient, and I was trying to avoid that as much as possible. That is why I invited Tunis into our alliance instead of killing them turn one. I was like, we can do something better with our fleets than killing this dot. Because if we get them into our alliance, we've basically killed them by making them join us. And so that was my reasoning for keeping them alive. I should have said that at the start.
I think that's really good reasoning, and you did a lot of this kind of thinking through that, frankly, I wasn't doing. And I think this is another reason that we were a good pairing, because I was quite focused on yapping to the other players.
Mm-hmm.
And on pretty much yapping, to be honest. But with your strategic mind behind our grand strategy, my yapping could be directed
Usefully,
in the right direction.
Yeah. Interestingly, your title was strategist, and mine was diplomat. I did a lot of strategy, and you did most of the diplomatic stuff. My diplomacy was just giving order lists to people. I was like, "Hey, Naples, do this with your armies," and he was like, "Yep, that's good." And that was my diplomacy, was telling people what to do, versus like saying, "Hey, how are you doing this morning?"
Truly, I was doing a lot of that, and a lot of yapping about how strong and dangerous Klagenfurt was, and how strong and dangerous Rennes was, and so on and so forth. And watch out for Ezio, this kind of thing. That really endears you to the other players. So I should emphasize that when I say I was doing this a lot, I was doing this a lot. And I think it was starting to annoy people. On another note, the great Corner Ocean hold begins this turn.
It is imperative that we hold Corner Ocean. I mean, it's good to have one fleet there. It gives you an extra turn, but I think
yes.
We also made a strategic issue where our north had a lot of saturation of units. We could have pulled off one unit to go somewhere else. I just didn't trust fire enough, I think was the issue. I think there's a misplay there somewhere that I would have done a little bit different if I was a bit better at the game. Because obviously I was doing a lot of the strategic stuff. So I had the control of that stuff. Obviously I didn't have the knowledge then, but definitely I think you need to have your defensive be as small as possible without having like fire like, oh, these guys are easy to kill. So having at least 2 fleets up there, we didn't need 3. I think was
right.
What should have changed. 1 fleet elsewhere could have done so much more for our alliance than like sitting doing nothing.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It's worth noting it would be hard to get it to some of these places, but I think our diplomatic leverage with fire was so strong, even despite this, and the resolution for this is important, but that'll come in the fall. That I agree, we probably could have had 1 less fleet in the north, and there's other reasons that might have been useful if it were closer to the front line. That will become evident if we go to the fall map, shall we?
I don't think that's. Is it this phase? Oh, I think it is this phase.
Is it?
I think it is.
Oh no, I'm wrong. No, I'm sorry.
Later something happens, but I think this phase might also have something happen.
Well, let's see. This phase does have the maybe the well. What does it say here in my notes? Oh yes. It says Denmark blunders, which you can see here. Unfortunately,
this is horrific.
Yeah. If I asked you if there was a point in the game when you most regretted your decision to ally with me,
I don't think I ever regretted allying with you. I don't think I ever like had that thought, because I was like, let's get this guy to the 3S season. I'll stay at 1, and then we'll make it to the end at some. Maybe I'll stab at some point. I had no thoughts of stabbing, no thoughts of like. It helped that we weren't talking as much, because like if we'd been both Americans, we would have talked so much more. We talked a lot, but like if we were both Americans, so much talking would have happened.
Yes,
a lot less tactics. But I think like this, I was like, I was more pissed at Belgrade. Like this is what made me dislike him, because it's like you're not doing anything, and he just sees this open, and it's like. Oh, that is rough.
I mean, this is
granted,
a good play,
it is.
Right?
Yeah, it's partly your fault, but I think
totally my fault.
I think it's a lot of it is seeing it from like back here. It's easy to say, "Oh, you should have seen that," but in the moment, it's really hard to see. There's so much going on.
Look, I trusted my read on Belgrade, and frankly, I was being a little bit arrogant. I was talking last phase about yapping a lot, and this extended to my tactics this phase. I should have let you do my tactics. You would have had a less biased perspective. I was so tunnel visioned on stopping Klagenfurt and Co. Because they seemed to be pressing on all sides, and I knew Klagenfurt was a threat because he was such a good player that I left myself completely exposed. This could have been so much worse as well. Imagine if Belgrade had moved to East Kiel. Like, that might have been game over for us two, at least for me.
That's so true. Because now at least what's it called? It's easier for us to defend when he's in East Berlin, right? Because we have a fleet touching. Yeah. Because then he could go for Holland or Denmark, and it's then like a guess.
Or East Berlin. It would have been rough.
Yeah.
And he would have had the second. Anyway. It's bad anyway, but it could have been... I frankly, I got luckier than I deserved. So this is bad. This is an example of what you shouldn't do.
Screenshot, do not do this. Diplomacy.
Because, like, what are the pros of doing this? Not many. The army unknown cannot cooperate with any unit except for Wing, Leoben, or the Klagenfurt unit. I'm not on great terms with Wolfsburg, who has the unit in Leoben. I guess it can cooperate with Salzburg and Belgrade, technically, as well. So it might accomplish something on Linz, but Klagenfurt has a build. Yeah, it's not looking good. This, I think, was a major phase in the Denmark character arc. This phase humbled me as a player and a person, because not only did I do this, which is this is exceptionally bad, but I had been negotiating down here and reading all the press, and did not see through what Klagenfurt was doing. So Klagenfurt was tossing up between supporting Linz, who was a sub, and not supporting Linz. And I was trying to make a set of orders that would mean that if Linz worked with Klagenfurt, Salzburg wouldn't fall. But completely missed that what Klagenfurt was surely going to do was just take Linz. And so I just let Klagenfurt get another dot here. So yeah, this phase humbles me, and I make a commitment to back off on all my yapping, and just focus on being a better player instead of investing my time into making people pissed at me. And I think this is an important lesson for me going forwards. How does your side of SweDen go this phase?
So I think this might be because I was kind of getting even more busy because I'm a student, so I've got school, I've got work that I go to, and I was stepping further and further away from the game. I coordinated getting like the swapping so that we can actually get Tunis another dot. Yeah, like see, North Norway gets into Norwegian Sea with support from North Sea. So like this was a good way to shuffle units around, even though I was against it because I was like, we can just have North Norway like chill out, but North Norway win it out. So I was like, okay, we'll get Tunis the dot, get everyone up to 2. This is the way that I just did the orders. I think it worked out good, but
yeah,
because we're doing this, we're not doing anything else, which is an issue. And then what's it called? Fire is getting pissed because we can't really help them get into North Austria. Like we can, but then we completely ruin our position because this is where I'm like, hey, I need something. And that's where and I think this is also I don't know if Craiova joins now, but I think Craiova is, when he joins, that's kind of like where we start caring less about the quality of our inductees into the alliance. Because like right now, NSA is, we're not actually like really an alliance. It's just we've been working so well together. Like they're still Sweden and they're still Britain, and they think of themselves as NSA, but we think of ourselves as Sweden, and yes, like we operate separately. So we haven't like fully merged. And this is where like Craiova, I'm like, all right, I'll do the same thing with Tunis. I'll just have Craiova join us, and it's like we've gained a dot. Not really. I think this was also a blunder on my part. I think we should have been going for dots at this point.
I agree that I think this phase I should have used East Baltic to support you into Craiova. And you would have been on 3. Or me
support East Baltic in.
Either
something
way,
like that.
To be honest, yeah.
I think it's also soft hearts.
Yes.
I didn't want to kill Craiova. We worked with Craiova. We should have just been like, yeah, you're dead. North Austria doesn't exist anymore. Sorry, yes. Craiova. I know I like you as a person. I didn't talk to you a whole lot, but from what I saw, you're a good player. Wanted to keep you around.
Fun to have in the game.
But we should have killed you here. It made way more sense. It's not the same situation as with Tunis.
I agree. At the time, there were diplomatic reasons why your decision was good. It repaired the relationship with Fire, I think. I don't exactly remember why.
It helped and it ruined it because Fire is like, we need more armies in. It's like, it's not possible. We can't get more armies in.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. It essentially, it did serve one purpose, which was Craiova being an army and being in Sweden meant
that's true.
Fire
having an army there
kind of couldn't do anything in North Austria.
You're right. There's benefit to having Craiova in the alliance.
We stalled Fire significantly, and I think because Craiova was not like your dot or my dot, and we were the main ones negotiating with Naples, it led to less tension between the heads of Sweden and like the diplomatic core of it and Fire, which contributed to our relationship continuing well.
One thing I noticed on this phase is Ireland goes from 3 centers to 0.
That is a good thing to notice. The great filter strikes again.
Yeah, the great coffee filter. Oh, I see the Feldkirch NMR that saves them. Yeah, so much happened this phase.
It's an important phase. Klagenfurt grows by another center and enters the rift. Ren gets into South Sweden.
does Ronnec grows 2 up to 5 this phase.
Oh yeah, and stabs Barcelona for Braga, and that puts Ren at the board lead, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it? Yes, the board lead, because Clark is only on 4.
It is board lead.
I say only. I'm back to 2.
Yeah, this is bad because East Munich is now gets to build, which makes it so much harder to push them out.
It's super rough. And I'm now looking at Edinburgh on 3, and I'm thinking, gee, I'm falling behind in the alliance.
Mm-hmm. Another thing, East Heel army, all that work we did to get another army is gone.
Oh god, it is. And this is another reason it never should have gone to known. The army needed to be here so that we could make progress like near our core and defend the core. So this is bad even in conception, right? But now it's worse. If I go to the winter map, because I think we've pretty much covered everything here.
Yeah, very important phase. A lot to cover.
We look at the tactics, and the only way to save Holland and East Kiel is to take the army off.
Mm-hmm.
So
that feels so bad to take it off.
It's so bad. It's just...
another army disbands in Megalovania as well.
That's true. That is nice to see.
I think this is kind of like where we can wrap it up. I've got some last like closing things unless you want to say something.
Go ahead.
You forgive Belgrade, which I hadn't really been active in my void, but this is something I put in my void, and I was like, oh my god, Denmark is forgiving Belgrade, but strategically, this is the right thing to do. Like, you read Belgrade right. Forgiving Belgrade was the right thing to do here.
In my notes, I saw that in your void, by the way. I'm glad that made the cut. It must have been shocking.
I think it's because I'm emotional, you know. I was like, oh my god, we've been doing so great. Like, SweDen has been doing fantastic. And then this is, like, it's horrible. But, you know, no need to dishearten yourself even more than you already are. So I was like, I posted that, and then later I was like, actually, this is it works.
So when you first saw my forgiveness, did you think it was legitimate?
Yes. I definitely was like, me and Denmark, you know, we're buddies. I read it and I was like, he actually forgives him. And then later I was like, that's stupid. There's no way he forgives him. But like in the moment I was like, he forgives him? What?
Well, thank you. It must have been a convincing lie.
Yeah, it was convincing, at least to me.
I'm glad. Because, I was furious. This was
that's great to hear.
I was furious with myself. You know, like you get into a bungle in a car and like you want it to be the other guy's fault, but it's really both of your fault. In this case, it was just my fault.
Or it's your fault. Yeah. And it's like, oh my, oh dude, here's my insurance information. Take my dog.
So I was mad, but I sat down and I thought to myself, this can't be done by force alone anymore. We're going to have to play the diplomacy game. And so...
a horrible game to play. 170 or 47 players? Are you kidding me?
I much prefer when I can just win by having more things on the board.
The bare minimum, yeah. But I think it's a good learning experience, yeah.
Definitely. It was not just that I offered forgiveness. You will remember, dear audience, that we mentioned Belgrade wanted to join every alliance, and we did not let him into Sweden. And you just mentioned North Sweden that we had recently been relaxing our entrance by allowing Craiova in. And I think Craiova was sort of, kind of still like head of Limelier, or technically like had some title to do with another alliance.
Yeah.
So I offered Belgrade that if they stuck with the probation
this was
orders,
beautiful.
They would be allowed into the alliance and would be able to add SweDen to their long name of all the alliances. And this worked, much to my amazement.
If you were in Belgrade's position, what would you have done?
That is a good question. It depends on my relationships with Aethelins and Sophia, who is East Munich. I know East Munich wanted to get back into the East Munich dot. This was pretty much their goal at this point in the game. So...
Oh, that is so important. You being married to East Munich.
Yeah, right.
I think that also saved our game. Like Aethelins being unable to do his own tactics. Like Aethelins, I would not have felt good as Belgrade working with Aethelins because
not at all.
He was. I think he could do tactics, but he was also too indecisive. And he talked and then maybe didn't remember what he had said. And so it would cause diplomatic incidents. So I think he's like a bad ally to have. Like, he's funny to see on the other side of the map, but not good to be in your alliance.
Truly.
But, like, you need Aethelins here to help you out against, like, West Munich. But, yeah, I think from Belgrade's position, definitely it's... it's like, something.
It's like you support yourself into East Kill, I think, every time. And you just like try and diplomacy that Aethelins and Sophia don't coordinate on East Munich. And you just don't tell anyone what you're doing and hope that you get into East Kill and then you just see what the fall looks like. Because frankly, you shouldn't expect what does happen on this next phase, which is some lovely, if very backwards coordination. Like, we're not getting anywhere from SweDen.
Interestingly, I have played Blood on the Clock Tower with Belgrade, and I later talking to Belgrade, I do like Belgrade. I think they're a great person, but like here, I can see how diplomacy can ruin friendships, and it gives you a bad, like, I do not like Belgrade at this moment. But later, I'm like, oh, you're Belgrade, dude, great job with whatever you did. But right now, it's like, oh my goodness.
This was my Icarus moment, and Belgrade was the sun, right? Like, so yeah, if you wanna wrap it up here, we can stop there.
Yeah, it was great talking to you again.
Yeah, it was really.
We'll have to do this again sometime.
Yes, this was great fun. I'd love to do this again.
Oh yeah.